bold journalism,
But Drew Hernandez is a strong-minded individual.
exposing lawlessness,
Hernandez, who is ideological,
finding the truth,
and use the word Antifa.
This is what they do.
battling
They're
mainstream
liars. The woke mob, all they can do is lie.
These are the front lines.
What's going on, thought criminals? Welcome to Frontlines. I'm your host, Drew Hernandez. A lot to cover. Davos 2023 is next week, but we're already on top of it. We're always on top of it, tracking the global cabal, what they're saying, what they're planning, just so we can kind of see what is ahead on the horizon coming from these people, these unelected pontificating policy makers and deciders and influencers on foreign soil that end up in America and other countries as well. We're going to be taking a look at that. Also, President Biden being exposed and the mainstream media and The View shilling for classified documents being exposed. And they just, of course, give the left an absolute pass. And also a very disturbing story. The pedophilia in this country is out of control. It's out in the open, especially in the so-called education system. And it needs to be dealt with immediately. It needs to be dealt with yesterday because children are being molested. They're being raped. Obviously, they're being groomed. So we have that coming up. So don't go anywhere. But like I said, we have some very important imperative coverage. You guys need to tune in. Bring your friends, bring your family, share the links absolutely everywhere. Next week, starting on January 17th through the 20th, we will have our Davos Watch 2023. They're having their conference in Switzerland. Savannah Hernandez will be on the ground, but we also will be clipping up, watching, paying close attention to all of their panels, their discussions, all of their plans that they're going to be talking about and conspiring against the free world, and we will be exposing it and breaking it down. Also, we will have some very special guests that will be on the show as well, so make sure to tune into that all next week. It's going to be very, very imperative that people watch that. My name is Drew Hernandez, and you are now on the front lines. Well, speaking of the World Economic Forum, like I said, Klaus Schwab and the global psycho Luciferians are getting ready to conspire against the free world. Take a look at their own words.
It is so exciting that at the beginning of the year, we can meet again in person. Only personal interaction creates the necessary level of trust, which we need so much in our fragmented and fractured world. To bring people together for an informal dialogue in a remote Swiss village such as Davos can be or should be a good recipe to restore trust.
Listen, if you're watching this show and you're a thought criminal and you're paying attention, I assume you know exactly what's going on. And the reason why I keep hammering over and over is bring some friends, share these links, because a lot of people believe the New World Order is a conspiracy theory. And anyone that comes out and says there's a shadow government that's globally making decisions, meeting together, okay, in disclosed locations, you literally just heard Klaus Schwab state that's exactly what they are going to be doing next week. In disclosed location, Switzerland. This is the type of rhetoric that they put out there because they are the ones that are doing this and facilitating it. So anyone that's a skeptic, anyone that thinks this is conspiratorial, show this stuff to these people because these people are unelected, un-American. And by the way, Americans will be attending this, which should be exposed, which they are being exposed. Some recent documents, the Davos 2023 guest list has leaked. And we have some of the names here for you guys. The list includes some of the most powerful names in government, finance, and business on the planet, including FBI Director Chris Wray, the CEOs of Amazon, BlackRock, and Pfizer, top officials in the Gates Foundation and Soros Network, and heads of the New York Times and NBC Universal. Maria Bartiromo of Fox News, an anchor, will be there. Stephanie Bancel, Chief Executive Officer of Moderna. Albert Poria, CEO, Pfizer. James Quincy, CEO, the Coca-Cola Company. Donnie King, CEO, Tyson Foods. Anjay Sud, CEO of Vimeo. Doug McMillan, CEO of Walmart. Greg Toom, President of Zoom. Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon. J.J. Davis, Chief Corporate Affairs Dell Technologies, and many, many, many more. This is the type of stuff that needs to go out. This is the type of information that needs to go out because whatever corporation, like I said, I've been saying this on the show and I say this all the time. I don't care what these people come out and say that they claim they support. I'm America first. I'm a conservative. Look at me. I got an R right next to my name. So I'm one of you, but I'm going to be at the World Economic Forum that is plotting and conspiring to literally go against the United States of America and take down their borders and take down their national sovereignty because globalism is great. Okay? And that's what the Great Reset is, by the way. If you noticed in that clip, Klaus Schwab is saying, we can meet again in person because the world is fragmented. That's the Davos theme for 2023. Oh, the world is fragmented. It's so broken apart. COVID-19, we are still in the pandemic. That's the Great Reset. That is what Build Back Better is. Okay? It is premeditated. It is premeditated destabilization of societies. These people create problems. They pump in fear hysteria in everyone's minds, and they cause mass destabilization in societies, in countries, and then they prop themselves up as the saviors with the solutions as to how they're going to heal a fragmented world that they dismantled. That is what this all is. That is the Great Reset, Build Back Better agenda, the World Economic Forum, and the globalists all at the top, directly to the down. You and I, the peasants, you will own nothing, be happy, and eat bugs for the rest of your days because apparently that's just, where humanity needs to go. That's how we're going to progress as humanity. This is why these people need to be exposed. If you guys are tuning in tonight, make sure to share all the links. Well, speaking of people getting exposed, President Biden has responded to the classified documents that were found. President Biden says he was surprised by discovery of classified docs in his UPenn office, claims he doesn't know what's in the documents. Oh, how convenient. Take a look.
First, let me get rid of the easy one first. People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously. When my lawyers were clearing out my office at the University of Pennsylvania, they set up an office for me, secure office in the Capitol. When the 4 years after being vice president, I was a professor at Penn. They found some documents in a box in a locked cabinet, or at least a closet. And as soon as they did, they realized there were several classified documents in that box. And they did what they should have done. They immediately called the archives, turned them over to the archives, and I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office. But I don't know what's in the documents. My lawyers have not suggested I ask what documents they were. I've turned over the boxes, they've turned over the boxes to the archives, and we're cooperating fully with the review, and which I hope will be finished soon, and there'll be more detail at that time.
Notice how he starts that statement off. Let me start with the easy one first, because this doesn't really matter, but it's obviously a point of interest in the public because, we went after President Trump and we sicked the mobilized, politicized FBI after President Trump for kind of the very same thing. So let me just get the easy one out of the way because no FBI coming after me, no deep state coming after I. Why? Because that's what I am. And I can do whatever I want because that's what we do. But if there's a political opponent that kind of does something that presidents have always been involved in, then we go after that person. We mobilize the FBI, we mobilize the deep state, and we try to dismantle everything that they stand for, their lives, and anyone that supports them. Of course, he's going to say, I don't know what are in the... He says it out in the open. My lawyers are telling me that, I should just say this, and I should say that, and I don't know what's in the documents. I was totally surprised. Who did that? Oh, I don't know. I'm not accountable to any of that. Oh, but if that was President Trump, we all know, because kind of happened. and they sicked the FBI, straight SS secret police, but we know the regime gets a pass. It's not just hypocrisy. It's intentional, okay? These people intentionally give themselves passes because they're the authoritarians and the elites that just do whatever the hell they want. Well, speaking of the fake news media cartel that comes alongside of that when it's the state-run and pre-approved propaganda, You got Joy Bear on The View, this woke-tard loser robot, on Biden's classified documents. I'm not even going to repeat what she said. Just watch the total shilling and like mental gymnastics. It's the same thing that happened with Trump, but just watch how she tries to justify that it's okay for President Biden.
Really, I think that what you just said is right, that there are differences in what happened.
Yes, but the optics are not good.
Well, we all know that Trump is a liar and a thief. We know that. So it's not that big a jump to say that he obstructed and he lied. We don't think that Biden is a liar and a thief, so we give him the benefit of the doubt. That's partly what's going on. But what I think also is going on, no matter what the truth of it is, Whoopi, they will spin it, Bubblehead and Marjorie Taylor and that crowd, Matt Gaetz, you think they're not going to spin this, that it's just as bad as Trump? And so the lie gets out there, people believe it, just like that Donaldson person, whatever his name is.
Byron.
What's his name?
Byron
Donalds. I saw him also. He was at the fight on the floor, too, wasn't he?
He was nominated for speaker a number of
Yes, by two people.
He's the new darling.
15 rounds.
He's
But,
the
what I'm
darling
just
of the
saying is that
Republican
the
Party.
lying has been so invasive, so ubiquitous, that no one will believe the truth anymore. And that you can put that at the feet of Donald Trump, who started the lying.
So
I just love how like all of a sudden they get all racist. They're like, what's that black guy's name? Byron? What? They're like, Donald's, ma'am, Byron Donald's, that guy, he's a liar too. And it's like, it gets all awkward. And it was like, aren't you like the same people that's pushing like, everyone's white supremacist and we should just bow down to white people? But that's what they do. They attack everyone. But it's the shilling is so exhausting. Oh, they're going to lie about Trump. President Trump's the one that started the lies. And, Congressman Matt Gaetz and Congresswoman, Lauren Boebert or MTG, they're all going to try and spin it while she's actively trying to spin it herself. Like, dude, you have to be absolutely the most low IQ, stupid person to, number one, like, be actively watching The View. And then number two, be actively believing what these NPCs are saying on a daily basis or whenever the hell their show is. It's just, gosh, dude. It's on a serious note. A report from Breitbart, Biden Center at UPenn received $54.6 million from anonymous Chinese donations. At least $54 million has been donated by the CCP party-linked individuals or entities between 2014 and 2019 to the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement in Washington at the University of Pennsylvania, according to public records reported by the New York Post, where it was revealed this week that President Biden had stashed a trove of classified documents. Wow, is anybody surprised that President Biden is in the palm of the CCP and Xi Jinping, literally a puppet with the strings being moved, doing everything that China needs, everything that the CCP needs? Oh, how convenient, isn't it, that they've been receiving tens of millions of dollars to get what they want, to remove the tariffs and just screw America and put America last and China first. That's why everything that you see everywhere, it has made on China stamped on it. And listen, I love Chinese people. It breaks my heart. Let's not get it twisted. I love Chinese people. I want to see them thrive. It breaks my heart to see them destroyed by that regime. It's the CCP, okay? These commie totalitarians are evil and they hate their own people. The left always tries to spin it. Oh, you're racist. You hate the Chinese. No, I love the Chinese. I don't want to see them destroyed by the CCP that hates their own people, that enslaves them. Let's just get that out of the way. Well, we also see some developments with the illegal immigration. President Biden to tackle illegal immigration by making more migrants qualify as legal. Oh, that's the solution, right? Just make the illegals legal, because that's the replacement migration. That's exactly how it works, because they want to replace you and they want to replace me, and that is exactly how this works from the top down. They want America last, and they want to remove anyone that believes in America first, because you are a problem, I'm a problem, but we're not going to let that happen. Well, we have a lot of problems going on here in America, on American soil. I'm pretty sure you can see that. We cover that every single day. And especially if you watch Frontlines, you know that we aggressively go after the degeneracy and the groomers and the pedophilia because it seems the mainstream media just doesn't want to touch it. Oh my gosh, you're exposing a pedophile? Oh, I don't know if we should air something like that. Like, why? Like, why would we not do that? Why would we not expose people that are actively going after children to rape and molest them? Like for For God's sake, if we have a huge platform, that should be where it's at. But then you begin to kind of peel back the layers and you look into Hollywood, you look into deep state politics, and then you begin to really see that there's a lot of these individuals at the top that are pedosimps and pedophiles themselves. If you've watched To Catch a Predator or anything of the sort, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and you name it. Jimmy Savile. It goes deep, man. It goes seriously deep. Here's a very disturbing story. Hundreds of Chicago teachers raped, sexually assaulted, groomed students in 2022. I warned you, this is going to piss you off. Hundreds of teachers in Chicago's public school system raped, sexually assaulted, and groomed students last year. The office was able to close 600 adult-on-student cases in the past year, substantiated more than half of the allegations. Despite that, only 16 of the cases have resulted in charges. I warned you, this is going to piss you off. While the majority of cases involved in high school students, some involved children as young as 4th grade. Out of 600, only 15. One Chicago teacher groomed and sexually assaulted a 17-year-old student on 3 separate occasions. Okay, this is why we need the death penalty for pedophiles, all right? It sends a message to society that if you want to rape, you want to molest, you want to take the innocence of a child, something bad is going to happen to you in your life. Oh, that's just so harsh, it's too mean. No, I think raping a kid is too harsh and too mean and is vile and disgusting. It should be absolutely socially acceptable to execute a pedophile for raping children, especially multiple times. Oh, but society just wants to give a slap on the wrist to these people and just feel sorry for them because, oh, they're just sick in the head. Now, give them the gospel. Okay, tell them to repent and then send them on their way. Death row, death penalty. That's where we're at right now. This is out of control, dude. It's clear. It's abundantly clear here in society. We don't care about children. I'm not talking about you thought criminals at home that do. But you see these people at the top. You see these people in media, even in the so-called justice system, giving slaps on the wrist to pedophiles. Absolutely unreal. Only 16 out of 600 of the cases have resulted in charges. And I'm willing to bet those charges are just slaps on the wrists. Well, I've been saying this on this show a lot, especially when we're talking about the LGBTQ community. They're all pushing MAPs, minor attracted persons. That LGBTQ map, or P, is going to be added very soon. Here's another disturbing story. Middle school teacher shows off assignment where students pledged to attend pride parades and become activists for the LGBTQ plus community. And the child draws protesters with very disturbing signs. Here's what the lesson was. Pride, asking a little kid, what do you think of when you think of this word? She said, I think of awareness I think of awareness and being proud of who you are. What we do in order to embody this word for the LGBTQIA plus community. Attend an event parade to feel confident with who you are and see other people like you. Activism. What do you think of when you think of this word? She said, I think this word is very important because it's good to have change, and there's many things that happen that should not and needs action to put to change. What can we do in order to embody this word for the LGBTQI plus community? Make sure people have respect for LGBTQI plus and have ways to include these people, and when someone has disrespect or no inclusivity, you make a change. Okay, interesting. Well, here's what the child drew. Let's get this up front and center. So the child drew a protest scene. Homosexual, trans, queer protesters standing on top of a rainbow, which belongs to God. And the sign that the protesters are holding says, age does not matter. Okay, this is what's being put in the mind of a child. This is what's being translated in the mind of a kid, in their innocence. Oh, you see the people on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure there's like some homo simps watching me right now. Oh, they're talking about age doesn't matter when you're protesting. That's what they're talking about. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. Because why is she drawing a scene of protesters, a bunch of homosexual, queer, LGBTQ, mentally ill trans freaks holding signs at a parent pride parade saying age doesn't matter? Want to know why? Because this depravity and degeneracy that's coming through the LGBTQ community is now being pumped down the throats of little kids, and the pedophilia is coming through as well. They're being groomed. They're being targeted by adults, and their innocence is being violated, and they're being convinced in their minds that age doesn't matter. You guys sit here and tell me that that's not happening to some of these kids? Of course it is. How is it not? That's the evidence right there. Well, speaking of these people, here's this woke-tard non-binary, self-proclaimed non-binary teacher explaining how sad it is that parents teach their kids there are only two genders, and so they want to be more open with students about it. They're going to explain to your children why they should be more tolerant, and they're going to override your parental guidelines. And this self-proclaimed queer person claims to be Christian, which is 100% false. Take a look.
So, something that happened the other day was I was in class, and the students all call me Coach Kelly. And a common question to ask is, why are you called Coach Kelly? Do you actually coach anything? And I'm like, yeah, I do. But you call me Coach Kelly because, you know, I'm not a woman or a man. So I'm not Mrs. or Mr. I'm Coach. And most of the students are like, okay, cool, whatever. We're like, yeah, you look like a boy, but you still nice wears dresses, so it kind of makes sense. And then one student raises his hand and goes, well, my mom says that you can't exist because when you're born, the Bible says that you're born either a girl or a boy. And, yeah, and I was like, some people believe that. And as a queer Christian, that just breaks my heart. That something, like two identities of mine are being used to harm children, right? And then, it pretty much broke my heart, especially when a lot of kids in the class, like, agreed and said their parents said the same thing. And I know it's something in their parents, right? It's not, the kids are just believing what they're told. And then I also do all the after-school activities. And two of my favorite kids, one of them, she corrected herself without being reminded or anything. And someone else, who takes too long in the bathroom with the little kids. And I said, if you don't come back soon, I'm going to check on you. And he's like, well, you can't go in the boys' bathroom. And another one of the kids, who hates every single teacher he comes into contact with, said, yes, they can. They're non-binary, so they can use whatever bathroom they want. Because someone they love is non-binary, they're okay with it, right? We need to stop teaching our kids that it's this or that, or that it's wrong, because it's not. And quite frankly, being open and having kids see that like that, it just warms my heart that those are the people, there's enough of those people who are going to be running the world one day, and I look forward to it. And that is why I'm a teacher, to teach kids like that, but also to be someone who queer kids can look up to. But that's a story for another day.
You know, I love that little kid's response. You know, it just, isn't it hilarious how pathetic these people are? Like truly, right? Like these homosexuals and queers, like, oh, we're proud. We're so strong. We stand tall. But like, they can't handle a little kid, like saying there's boys and girls. Like, oh, my heart. Oh my God, I can't believe a little kid said that. Base little kid, man. That's the energy we need right now. And by the way, there's no such thing as queer Christians. Yes, are there born-again believers that may have come out of the homosexual lifestyle that may still struggle, but they're born again and they're fighting against it every single day? Of course there are. But there's no such thing biblically, according to biblical Christianity, as queer Christians. That's not real. That doesn't exist. in any way, shape, or form, if you are actively living a habitual lifestyle of sin, the Bible says in 1 John that you are not a child of Christ, not a child of God. You're a child of the devil, period. That's how it works. Are you offended? I'm glad you are, because you should be, because the truth offends everybody. So that's why you're mad and you get all hot in the ears and you get all offended every time I say something like that. So don't get mad at me, get mad at God, and go repent and figure out whatever's going on in your own personal life. But what I got to say about this as well is, why do these homosexuals and queers always feel so entitled to children, especially kids that are not theirs? It's always with these people, especially when they're like these so-called educators and teachers. Why do they want children's affirmation so bad? Like, why? Like, are you that pathetic? Like, seriously, like let's have an honest conversation. Are you that pathetic that in order for you to have an acceptable existence, you're a teacher, you're an adult, and like the kids, these little kids' affirmation and their acceptance of you, like that's gonna like determine, like that's gonna ruin your day, it's gonna ruin your life, it's gonna change the course of your life. Like, that's what I'm saying, man. These people are pathetic. Don't be afraid of them. Everyone's always like, oh, you see like the Media Matters articles, like, oh, homophobic homophobe Drew. Like, no one's scared of these people, bro. No one's scared of these homosexuals. All right? I call them out every single day. No one's scared of these transsexuals that they are self-proclaimed transsexuals, which they don't exist, by the way. They're all just homosexuals. That's what they are, and lesbians. All right? Like, no one's homophobic here. It's the people that are afraid to call them out. The people that are afraid of getting canceled for speaking the truth because of the backlash from these people. Those are the real homophobes. And that is what's taking place right now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we got to protect our children. We got to protect this nation. We got to hold it down. That's where we are. It's up to you to do it. Share all the links, Real America's Voice, Rumble, and Getter. My name is Drew Hernandez. These are the front lines. I'll see you guys on the next one.
We must play offense. Game on.
You expect the rest of the world to live in La La Land. We're not.
We've been saying these things from day one.
Our solemn vow to you, be good, be brief, be gone.
You might find yourself changing your opinion on things you never even thought twice about. That really sets America apart.
You are not ready for season 2. This is Reloaded.
My life tale and my truth has been to fight socialism.
Are you familiar with structural racism?
Yeah, it's a myth.